Hey everybody, I starting a new project. I had taken my daughter's guitar, which is a small Martin, and drawn it up. I didn't do it live because I got obsessed about it, but some research on stained glass guitars out there that I'd seen, and I'm not sure any of these people have actually seen a guitar before. So I came through and had to think up some ideas, what I was going to do with the keys up here, how I was going to lay it across back over here. Yeah, so it was a little more in detail than I thought. I do have some colors picked out that I think are going to work well. Got this beautiful green that I think will go for the body. It's got these cool stripes in it and stuff, so I think that'll be fun. And then I'm gonna go with this ivory looking for the neck and the head. Yeah, and then I'm gonna this orange that I really like. Same thing, it's got all these cool colors in it and swirls. I'm either gonna use it as a pick guard, which I think will be cool, or for this ring right here. Either way, once I start getting it all in pieces, I can get a better look and decide what I want to do with it. So first thing I'm gonna have to do though is go through and cut all these into pieces so that I can use them. This morning before I got on camera, I drew this up, which is going to be my pieces. So I'm gonna sit through and exacto these pieces out. Just gonna take a little bit, but this is the process. Let's see. What do we go with first? Just cut out these big sections first. And I'm just using the this self-repairing mat. I bought too big of a one, so I cut it into quarters so that I could actually have this manageable pieces. I wanted to be able to flip them around and make them more useful. So this will allow me to get every piece outlined and cut perfectly so that they'll all match up. All of this reminds me of similar to doing tattoo work. And although I'm following this template, if there are spots that, run awkwardly, just cut them the way I want them. It's another chance to correct. I'd rather keep these all together for that reason while I'm doing the body, to make sure I know what I'm slightly changing. Also, this X-Acto knife is a lot more consistent as it flows than a pen over top. I do most of this all freehand because I believe perfection is not always required. The idea that these were handmade means that circles don't need to be perfectly perfect. It's my interpretation, not a picture. But I do want to capture my perspective the best way possible to share that. I'm kind of concerned some of these are a little small. And previously, I tend to be a little heavy-handed with the solder, so we'll see how that goes. But once again, just learning how to do this, so here's the body. Right there. Yeah, I figured if I was making a guitar, I should make it something that matters to me instead of a generic guitar, so I pulled out my daughter's acoustic, which I had gotten for her, hoping that she'll get into it. She's been banging on it since she was 1 year old, which isn't that long ago, but I've been playing it. It sounds great, it's fun, it's small, full electric acoustic, so if she gets into playing shows up here in Nashville, she'll be able to. But I'm hopeful that there will be tons of memories attached to it, so that means something. And I mean, if she doesn't get into it, then at least I have a nice guitar. But she seems pretty music focused, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to try to get these perfect. I'll just accept that I'm going to have to go back and round out these corners a little bit. Right there. No! I almost ripped these out. Let's skip that area. Okay, well, let's get this detached. I'm using a printer size cardstock, I think it's 80 weight, to use this thicker. I was using my the paper I had laying around, and I used it all up and then went to reorder it and realized it was kind of expensive, so I switched over to this cardstock, which is much more reasonable. Now, some people use scissors for this part, but I like the precision of the X-Acto knife. It's a little bit more, doesn't take as much of the lines away. Kind of lets me check them out. I've gotten so much support from friends and family on this. I really dig on it. I'm able to share the video I did for that abstract, which was my first time really producing. I like doing this because I don't know, it just captures everything. It gives me great footage to go back and look over so I can see what I'm doing. These little ends over here, I'd originally thought I was going to cut little pieces of glass and copper them, but I've watched a few examples of things similar, and it looks like the easiest thing to do would be to, much like you do with a patch, just fold up some foil that goes over the line and create those overhangs and then just solder over them. And then I'm going to run the guitar wires to the solder lines, which I've got to buy some. Don't think I have any yet. Okay. Now we've got this and this. Let's see if these fit. A little bit narrow. I think that'll work though. I'm also reconsidering if it's worth changing. Like I could do this all in one piece and then just copper over piece 17 right here so that I can do the same thing and just solder it. Alright, so not sure if I'm going to make those one piece or not. I'll leave those over here. But let's start towards the middle. I'm going to cut out this circle altogether, that way they all stick. I feel like if I did the pieces separate, that there might be some disconnect. It's probably not true, but I'm just going with what I feel until I figure out if that works or if I'm off. Picking where the solder lines were going to run on this was kind of a pain. I really wanted to just do the body all in one really cool piece of stained glass, but I realized that like I need a break here for this to go in. I couldn't just drill it and put it in, so I decided to go with a division to make it a little more geometric. So I ran the lines from here and came out this way to give a consistency over the piece. Control the composition. I'm going to be really happy I have this band cutter for this outer ring, because this would be one heck of a break line to do open-handed. Yeah, it's my first attempt at doing this guitar, but we'll see what we modify on the next one. I'm pretty excited though. It's fun making it. I'm hopeful that it will be something I can repeat. I really didn't want to do that. Alright. So I got that out. I'll cut out these. I think I'm going to go with that ivory color on this offset that gives it the 3-dimension. The hope is that it will hang sideways so that it'll look like it was actually like a guitar strap. And that's how come I built these edges that way. I just set the real guitar over at the right angle and stared at it while I worked on this. Try not to overextend it. Yeah, I figure once I get this dialed into exactly what I want it to be, I'm going to go through and laminate these pieces so that I can reuse them and save doing this step over and over and over. There's a lot of times where like you want to fight between repetitive steps, but you need to create the infrastructure and make sure that it's actually what you want. So it's worth the risk to me of having to do all of this again, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to find some steps or some things that I'd like to change throughout this. Make it easier, make it look better, just in general. Here we go. And my phone up in front of me in case anybody jumps on the chat. I've got a few followers now. Somebody might be really bored in the middle of the day and decide to join in. As of now, it's not the case. Pretty amazing what you can learn and do nowadays on YouTube. I have no reason to be doing this other than I think it's kind of fun to see it dismantled and then reinstalled. I messed that up, went on the inside of that line, but as long as I follow what's cut there, it'll come out the same, although We'll take a little bit of my perfect geometry lines out, but it's only what you want it to be. My daughter was growing up, I used to always draw little bulldogs and make them purple with pink polka dots. And she'd laugh and say, "That's not true." I'd say, "It is in my world, because I get to make it what I want, and that's part of the fun." I accidentally drew on this line, so I need to get this out to get my pick guard and remember not to cut that line. Did it with a ultra fine tip Sharpie, so it wasn't going to come off once I did it. This pick guard was one of the things that took me the longest to draw, because these drop pick guards give your they're all a little different, and it gives your guitar a lot of its personality, despite things like actual play, tonnage, and everything else. My plan is to do the same thing with this one that I did with the abstract. Make these videos, live stream them in case anybody is interested, and then do a montage to make a 20-minute quick little video and pull everything together, which is much more what you do see on YouTube and the rest of these channels. You go this way and this way. 9 goes down here. 12 goes here. I was watching the last video I did, and I had these labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever, and I realized how silly that was, because there's only so many letters in the alphabet, but there's a lot of numbers, so I could continue this on for a 1,500 piece Tiffany lamp or whatever. Let's start with the body. So let's get rid of this. I still kept it together because I'm still not sure. Those. That goes over. This will be my sound hole. I've got a black colored over there for this. Alright, so there's my body pieces. We want to set this up so that it hopefully is as much as possible. Now the reason this is more important is I can't just trace over top of it, because this thicker glass will still let some light through, but it will I want it that way. It will be easier to cut these out and put them this way. So I want this little orange piece in this top corner to be the top left side of the guitar. I was looking at it, and if I use that orange for that pick down here, I think it'll flow across nicely and give the glass a bit of composition. So I'm just kind of roughing this in to see how it's going to take over on this glass. I guess I could have used a so it'll be the dark green over here, which will stick out nicely. I was hopeful to get all of these right so that I could use the flow of this beautiful glass all together. We're gonna go a little bit more this way. Okay, pretty close. I think that's exactly what I want. Let's go. Sharpie. Ultra fine tip Sharpie. If I could see through it, this would be easier. I also thought about double sticking them so that they would stay and I could just pick them up, put them back, but we will see. So this one's gonna go here. About like that. I guess the benefit is I don't need to put 3 back on there after I've cut the draw. I also bought this stuff is called Markstay. After I get it lined out, I'll rub this on there. It's more or less wax. Give it a handful of minutes to dry out, and then when I go to use the bandsaw, it's supposed to keep it so that my lines will stay, which would be fantastic. And I'm going through and doing this to keep the flow of the glass on here because I think this glass is gorgeous. It was one of the reasons I decided to do the body all in one piece of glass instead of a couple different ones to give a different design, was because this was it had a cool design in it by itself. Whoever made this glass did a beautiful job. Wanted to keep just a little bit away from this edge. And then I'm going to make great efforts to have the same thickness of glass. Did not have the same thickness on the last project I did, and it was such a pain with the soldering part because nothing was level. It was not worth the effort, and it did not give any more depth, texture, dimension to anything. It was just a pain. Not worth it. So lining this off this, considering the curves, seeing how everything flows up. Move 10 for the minute. Here's the inside of my, what will be my pick guard, which I'm thinking is going to be that orange. I may get this together and be like, nah, that doesn't work like I thought it would. But it's my initial thought. And I think that ivory is going to look really good against this. sure I'm not rubbing off on any of this. Okay. Put you guys together. Slide 10 back in here. Oh. 3, 4, 6, 7. Labeling them makes it easier to figure out not just where they go, but which side is the top and the bottom. I've definitely done it backwards by accident, especially with more textured glass. I wanted to do the bottom side because it was easier to mark on, but then I realized it was mirrored backwards once I went to put everything together, and I just went with it because we're still learning. Mistakes happen, and these are all for me for fun. I've not started trying to sell any of these or anything. It's always more fun for me to do art for myself. Takes a little bit of the pressure off. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when I can be, and I want to make everything as good as possible. Okay, got that lined up. 13 out of the way. I'm excited to use this bandsaw. Used it on a couple pieces when I had first gotten it. I was so excited, and it did not work out the way I thought it was going to. I'm definitely on the still learning side of all this. Love these colors. Pretty awesome. $13, $11. My thought was if I produced a lot of these, I could go through and like this piece right here would be piece number 8, and on a different guitar I could use it as piece 8, so I wouldn't have as much waste and my cuts would be worth more. I'm also decided to do this one on the bandsaw, not just because it's a new toy and okay, it's a new toy, that's why I'm really doing it, but I had learned that the nature of the nature of the diamond edge on it it grinds it or smooths it, so I don't need to actually grind it to copper foil it, which is pretty sweet. It saves anything to save time, right? Duplication of process. There's one little section I must have rubbed with my hand. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Okay, and piece 14. So I almost just got excited and started going because I'm excited. But I'm going to use this and let it sit for a little bit. Apply film. Mark glass with your marker pen. Apply thin film of Mark Stay 2. Grind or saw. Okay. Take it I'm just supposed to do this by hand. Start up here and we'll run around. Made me wonder if using a grease pencil to do this wouldn't have the same effect as this does. Let me try to cover the numbers also so I don't lose them. I'll probably end up having to go back over after they're cut, put them on, but try to save them. Yeah, the amount of water that you use for your bandsaws is excessive isn't even a good enough word. It's like swimming. It's a lot more water than I was using, which is good. I think that shows that it's really lubricated and keeping the temperature down. We'll get some nice smooth edges, so it'll be easier to line them up and to copper foil them. Should be able to handbrake several of these other ones, but I want to make sure I get these all in sync, all flowing together so that it'll give the right effect on the guitar body that I'm looking for. Alright, we've got all of it good and covered. I gotta let it dry. So we will get back to this in a minute. Finally got myself a stool. It's really nice to be able to sit down to do this drawing instead of standing here the whole time. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's just covered in this this wax. Yeah, the Mark II Stay. Or Mark Stay 2 or whatever. So I'm gonna give it some time to dry so that it will stay on when we start cutting. So I guess since nobody's on here, I'll just stop and then restart. Alright, well, I'll be back. I'm gonna go get something to eat and whatnot. See you soon.